take notes during the seminars. Where's the
Oh, is that my-
mommy?
No time.
I'm watching you. I'd like to call to order this August 4th, 2021 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Gomez?
Here.
Dr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Moffitt?
Here.
Ms. Schofield?
Here.
Ms. White?
Here. Item B, Agenda 1, motion to approve the agenda. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the agenda of the August 4th, 2021 regular Board of Education meeting. Action by the Board of Education and adoption of a consent agenda means that all items are adopted by one singular motion unless a member of the Board of Education, treasurer, or superintendent requests that any such item be removed from the consent agenda and voted upon separately.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffitt?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Item C, opening ceremony. Welcome to all the folks here that we're going to recognize tonight. We're so excited to have you with us. Thank you for being here. Our vision, Cuyahoga Falls City Schools, the hub of our community, committed to a culture of caring. We innovate, we create, we personalize education for all. Our mission, every student, every day, every opportunity. Informational items. This meeting is a meeting of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not a public community meeting, although there are opportunities for public participation. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic found on the meeting agenda, The individual must complete a registration form found inside the attendance notebook and present it to the treasurer. Following the introduction of the topic by the board president, followed by board discussion, the individual will be recognized. If an individual wishes to address the board regarding a topic not found on the meeting agenda, she or he must notify the superintendent and or board president of the topic no later than 3 business days in advance of the meeting. These individuals may share their comments during the board business portion of the agenda. In both cases, the individual will preface comments by an announcement of his or her name and address and limit comments to 3 minutes. All statements should be directed to the board president. No person may address or question board members individually. In addition, in public session, the board will not hear complaints about school personnel nor against any person connected with the school system. An unabridged board agenda for this meeting can be found on your electronic device at the address shown on the screen. And for your convenience, hard copies of the board agenda may be found on the librarian's desk. Excuse me. The next regularly scheduled meetings of the Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education are on August 18th and September 1st at 5:30 in the Cuyahoga Falls High School Library, 2300 4th Street, Cuyahoga Falls. A Finance Committee meeting is scheduled for August 19th, 2021 at 9:00 a.m. in the Harold E. Wilson Administrative Center, 431 Stowe Avenue. And a Planning Committee meeting is scheduled for August 19th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in the Cuyahoga Falls High School Media Center or Library where we are now. And now for our Pledge of Allegiance, Ms. Patrice White.
If you'll please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Yeah, I think so too. I have to go back here.
Item D, presentations. 1, Auditor of State Award with Distinction.
Yep, right here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jake Altman. I'm here on behalf of Auditor of State Keith Faber to present the Cuyahoga Falls City School District with the Auditor of State Award with Distinction. This award is not something that we give out a whole lot of. In fact, of the around 6,000 entities that we audit across the state, 3 to 5% of them are eligible to receive this award. So it puts the school district in pretty high company. And I think it speaks to everybody at the school district, teachers, parents, administration, everybody pulling together for fiscal excellence. And it especially speaks to the professionalism and leadership of Ms. Stoikoi and her team in the finance department. So on behalf of the auditor, congratulations.
Yeah, Joanne's gonna come up here.
Let's get a picture
Now you know you Ellen.
with the guy.
I really kind of, I just looked at the board docs where it says recognizing Ms. Christy Stoikoi. I almost changed it because I think that's inappropriate. It's not me. It's we're a team. Our treasurer's office. Joanne is my assistant treasurer. And I have 3 other wonderful human beings in the treasurer's office that dealt with a rough year last year, as everybody did. But we managed to get stuff like this done. And I'm very, very thankful for them. Without them, none of this would be possible. And that's about it. Thank you.
Let's get a picture.
Board members? Board members?
Nobody does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very tall, so.
Most my French in here.
All right, squeeze together, squeeze together, squeeze together.
Are we good?
There we go. All right,
Stand up, Patty.
1, 2, 3. All right, we're good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming today.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Item 2, District Sports Hall of Fame inductees. Mr. Johnson's here, I know, and Dr. Nichols.
Yes, I'd like to say a few words to begin before I bring up our athletic director. I think most everybody in here knows my background and my love of the sport of track and field. Frankly, if it weren't for track and field, there's no way I'd ever went to college. No way I'd ever gone to where I am today. And these three individuals, ladies, I've been watching for a very long time. And I'm incredibly proud of you. You know that. You've heard me holler, heard me yell, scream, give you high fives and hugs. Goodness gracious. I knew it would come to today. At least I hoped it would come to today. And I just want you to know from me how incredibly proud I am of you. To make first team All-State in track and field in the state of Ohio, Division I, got to be the best of the best. Not only in Ohio, but you got to be the best of the best in our country. And it hits me especially hard right now as the Olympic Games are going on. And you all know my son and his relationship with now Clayton Murphy. And Clayton just finished 8th at the Olympic Games. Unfortunately, didn't medal. But doggone it, he represented us, and he's an Ohio boy. So I just want you to feel the magnitude of what it means to be first team All-Ohio in the sport of track and field. I'm so incredibly proud of you. Burstowski's, my goodness, we've been hanging out at fields and venues and gyms and since she was 7 years old, maybe 6, I don't know. But I'm sure we'll continue to hang out as you got one coming behind. And I still look forward to it. So I'm not going to apologize for my emotions because they are heartfelt. And I want you to know one last time, I am so incredibly proud of you. Mr. Johnson, Director of Athletics.
First of all, I want to congratulate Christy and Joanne on your award. You guys do an awesome job. It's been great working with you too. So you deserve that.
We like you a little bit too.
I'm growing on. Dr. Nichols said a lot. It came from the heart. These 3 girls, it's easy to come from the heart. They're just great kids. I have a little thing written up, but before I do that, I think it's very important. Their coaches came tonight, coaches that represent them in the sports they played. And I don't think it'd do me justice to stand up here by myself. So I'd like all those coaches that are here to come up and stand with me.
Come on, old man.
So while they're coming up, we have Courtney Lewis. Courtney Lewis was the head volleyball coach here. She's here for all of them. She knows them all, but Grace especially. Coach Noah, head basketball coach here. Coach Emma. Coach Scorfield got the pleasure of coaching them all. Track and field coach. And then the legend, Coach Montgomery. Tennis got to coach Shanae and Emma. And I'm sure he would have taken Grace if he could have got her out. I'm sure he tried to recruit. He tried. So we're here tonight to recognize 3 student athletes that will be our newest inductees into the Athletic Hall of Fame. All 3 of these ladies were great students, involved in executive committee, and so many extracurriculars. Between the 3 of them, they have 9 school records, 33 varsity letters, a handful of league honors, and all Ohio honors. So at this time, I'm going to call them up individually, say a little bit. I could go on forever. This board meeting, I know board meetings sometimes be long. I don't want to make it any longer. So I'm just going to say a little bit, tell you what they did here, and we'll end with that. So the first one I want to call up is Grace Lowe. Come on up, Grace. Grace is a 4-year letter winner in track and field, and she is the fastest girl in the history of Cuyahoga Falls.
Wow.
Now, why I say that, she holds the school record in the 100 meters. 100 meters considers you to be the fastest person. If you ask Usain Bolt's the fastest man alive. Now we have the fastest girl in Cuyahoga Falls standing next to me right here, Grace Lowe. She ran a 12.27 in the 100 meters. She is also our record holder in the long jump at 17 feet 8 inches. She also is record holder in the 4x4 and 4x2 relays. Grace qualified for the state track meet twice as a sophomore and a senior. I tell all 3 of these girls, I talked to Janae and Emma today, if they would have had their junior year with Amaya, watch out. These girls would have had all kinds of records and all kinds of things. The junior year got postponed because of COVID. But to their credit, they came back as seniors and really stood out. Grace placed 7th in the state in Division I in the long jump, which qualified her for All-Ohio. She also lettered twice in volleyball and was a member of our DECA program here. Grace will be entering the Cuyahoga Falls Athletic Hall of Fame because of her All-Ohio honor, and we are just honored to induct Grace into the Hall of Fame. Our next inductee is Emma Burstowski. Emma earned a school record 15 varsity letters, never to be done before. Probably only to be matched by maybe her sister here soon. Emma earned 4 letters in basketball, 4 letters in track and field, 3 letters in soccer, 3 in tennis, and 1 in football. I know, football, right? Incredible athlete. Unbelievable student. Emma just didn't earn letters, though. She was all league in basketball and soccer, and she was a district champ in track and field. Emma holds 2 school records in the 4x2 and the 4x4 in track. And she would hold, there's no doubt in my mind, she would hold the basketball steals record for games, single season, career. I've never seen a girl steal the ball more in a basketball game than Emma. So I know that's not a record right now, but we need to create it because you have it. Emma was also a member of the National Honor Society and an outstanding student. She will be entering the Cuyahoga Falls Athletic Hall of Fame for earning 12 varsity letters. We're extremely proud to induct you. 15. You get in, I'm sorry, you get in for getting 12 varsity letters. She went 3 above that. So she now has 15 varsity letters. So congratulations to Emma Burstowski. All right, our last inductee, Janae Blake. Janae earned 12 varsity letters, 4 in soccer, 3 in tennis, 4 in track and field, and 1 in bowling. Janae had a devastating senior year. For everybody that doesn't know, Janae tore her ACL one day before the first regular season game of soccer. Janae was an all-league player as a junior, expected to help lead our soccer team as a senior, and she had a devastating injury. To her credit, I know as a high school athlete, not being able to play and having to watch your peers play has to be one of the hardest things to do. And she was there every single day with her soccer teammates. That says that says a ton about the person Janae is. But the story gets worse. It gets a lot better. So she then rehabs. And within, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, she's bowling. She earns a varsity letter bowling, basically with still a torn, it's not torn, but she's rehabbing. Her ACL is not completely healed. She earns a varsity letter in bowling. Credit to her athleticism. Track starts. Janae was a state qualifier as a sophomore. Janae has 3 school records in track, 4x1, 4x2, 4x4. Incredible track athlete. 2 weeks into track season, she's running on the track, re-tears her ACL. It's bad enough to tear your ACL once. The devastation as a senior, to do it twice, I couldn't describe what that must have felt like. Again, we're at track meets, and there's Janae in a huge brace with crutches, cheering on her teammates, doing times. It was incredible to see, because I don't think there's a lot of high school kids that would have been able to do that. She's been a credit to kids around here to see, you don't always have to be the star or anything. You can just be a part of the team. And Janae did that this year, not by her choice, but because of injury. And I think she deserves a lot of credit for that. So she will be inducted. She will be inducted into the Cuyahoga Falls Athletic Hall of Fame for earning 12 varsity letters. Janae Blake.
Wow.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
In closing, if there's one thing I can say, I think having a daughter, if there's one thing I can say about these 3, if my daughter turns out to be like these 3 girls, I'm going to be extremely proud. I think that's the highest compliment you can pay. And I totally mean that. These 3 great kids, and we're going to miss them. So thank you guys.
Huh?
Get your camera. You're going to be in it.
All right. KJ.
Oh, you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sure, just stand up short.
Okay.
Come on, Ray.
Get in there.
No, it's still moving, so we got to wait. Yeah. You're all good. Ready? Cheese.
Yeah.
Excellent.
One more.
KJ, you can't go away. No. No. Yes, absolutely.
So Patty, this is what would have happened us if girls could run track.
Little do they know that Title IX didn't exist in high school. Okay,
I know.
gather around. Gather around Patty.
I'm not sure who's shorter, Patty or Courtney.
Probably I am Courtney.
All right. 1, 2, 3. We got you.
Congratulations. Oh, wonderful. Congratulations.
Yep. Yep.
Find a spot.
Thanks for coming tonight. Congratulations again. Item 3, summer graduates.
Our summer graduates are not here.
Okay.
We'll still graduate.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do.
It's recommended the Board of Education grant the Cuyahoga Falls High School diploma to the following individuals who have completed the requirements stated by the state of Ohio for high school graduation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Our three graduates are Kyle Matthew Bergen, Devonte O'Mary and Neal, and Cole Ollie Poskerbiewicz. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. We're so happy all of you are now proud Cuyahoga Falls High School alumni. Roll call.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Hi.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Construction update, TDA in Hammond.
Okay.
I'm still trying to process 15 letters.
I know. I know. It's amazing.
She's been pretty good for a long time.
I guess so.
Okay, so Ryan, I don't have control of this, right?
I am ready for you.
Okay,
Just say
awesome.
go.
All right, great.
Got
Good evening.
Good evening.
So Jeff and I are gonna kind of tag team our update this month. After our visit last month, we powwowed for a little bit and we talked about how we were describing dates and submissions of milestones for the design and construction phase, but there's probably a little bit of more detail we could have gone into with you so you could understand what we're up to right now and what we've been up to. So I did want to walk through a few of those things. And like I said, we're just going to kind of tag team. So Ryan, you can go ahead to the next one. The first note I had made is last time we talked really briefly about Newberry abatement and demolition. So I did want to at least give you a little more information since last month. So the first is that we're in the what we call construction documents phase. So that is us putting together all the documentation necessary so that Hammond can bid the project out, award it to someone, and get the process moving. So we are on our schedule, which is we're on schedule to submit those construction documents to Hammond the end of this month. So our documents are complete. We pass those along to Hammond. And then the month of September, they will use to bid that out, award those bids, and they have their process that they go through for that. And then the abatement and demolition work will begin right now on the schedule, that is October of 2021. I do not want to speak in too much detail about Hammond's construction schedule, but we were talking about, approximately 4 months of work for that to be completed. This schedule will be finalized once Hammond has the documents in hand and once bids are received and reviewed with those bidders and folks who will actually be doing the work. So I wanted to follow up on this item. So we're on pace. We're on pace for this schedule. The next slide, thank you, is a little bit about the phase submission process. So this will fold into all the dates that we kind of talk through in a moment next. But there's 3 columns, the event, the duration, and some notes that I'll review. So I know last month we talked about a date in August, a deadline, a schematic design deadline. And so we talked about that being kind of the first piece of a phase submission. So these are kind of the elements of a phase submission. So the first event would be when TDA puts their pencils down or computer mice down or whatever we call it now and submits design documentation. So we are going to do that at the end of this month. That August 27th date that you saw for Newberry, that's the same deadline we have for our schematic design. And we'll get into a little bit more detail of what the components of schematic design are. But we issue those documents to Hammond. We issue them to the district more as kind of like a courtesy or a review or a snapshot of a moment in time. And then we also submit them to the OFCC. And the next event that follows has a duration of about a month, and that's review and estimating. So Hammond and the OFCC review the documents. Hammond's looking at constructability and, really using their construction lens to review what is a very schematic set of drawings at this point in time. And the OFCC is going to review them for compliance with their design manual. So that's happening. At the same time, Hammond's estimating team is estimating the schematic set, and TDA has an independent estimate and process as well. So that is essentially going to be the month of September. Then we get together and go to the next event, which is we call reconciliation. So Hammond and TDA will reconcile our estimates. So we'll have independent estimates. They never shake out to be exactly the same at first. And so we will sit down and review line by line those estimates and agree upon where the budget is falling. So that's our reconciliation process. Concurrent with that is response and compilation. So we will respond to comments that we receive from the CMR. And then there's some other components that go into the schematic design submission. So it's not just our drawings. There's a detailed construction schedule. There's those opinions of cost. There's those comments and certification that we're complying with the design manual. So all of that has to get pulled together as well. And then the next event that occurs is a board resolution. So the board is essentially approving that complete set. And then the formal phase submission gets submitted to the OFCC. So I think last month it seemed maybe a little bit unclear from the questions that we were getting about, okay, you have this deadline in August. Why are we not going to have our first big design presentation until probably October? This is why that submission process is going to take about a month. But we won't stop moving during that time. We don't sit back while this is happening. We will push forward in preparing design renderings and things to share with you, but we want to make sure that we come to you at that first cohesive design presentation and we can say, not only here is the design for your review and comment, but also we can report that we're on budget at that time. The next slide is a little bit more detail about the dates for the rest of the campus. So we reviewed dates for Newberry. Right now, this is what is been projected in our schedule. As I mentioned, part of that schematic design submission will be a very detailed schedule from Hammond, but this is a snapshot of this moment in time and what our design side of the schedule looks like. So we will have phase submission deadlines that are in the date column. So our first one is the program of requirements and schematic design. So like I said, pencils down for TDA end of August, and then we have an end of September target for that phase submission. Design development is the next phase, and we'll get into a little more detail about that in a minute, but end of February for that phase submission. So we have, again, another pencils down moment at the end of January 2022. The next set is what the guaranteed maximum price, or GMP, of the building will be set upon. That is end of July 2022. So we have our next pencils down moment end of June 2022. And then that bidding and award process that Hammond will go through will kick into effect the end of summer there. We have it just for conversation end of August 2022 with construction beginning after that. And again, I'm certainly not going to get into any detail about the construction schedule at this point in time, because just as much as we're working through the details of what the building's going to look like, Hammond will take some time to work through the details of that construction schedule, what the bid packaging and what the timing of all that will look like. So we just thought it was kind of important to go into a little more detail for you and document it a little bit better for you, because I know last month we kind of just had a conversation around it. And then we did want to walk through a couple of diagrams that I think speak to those phase submissions and points in time and how we move through the design process and into construction. So I'll let Jeff kind of speak to this a little bit.
Okay, sure. Go to the next slide. So this slide here kind of represents the contractual responsibilities with TDA directly with the school district, and Hammond directly with Cuyahoga Falls Board of Education as well. And then the S's are our subcontractors underneath that. The number of subcontractors under there does not represent how many subs we're going to have. We're going to have much more than that. It's just, you know, a representation that the subcontractors, we hold their contract, they report to us, and our contract is directly with the school district. And that's the beauty of the CMR. in the past, when you had multiple prime, all of those S's there, they would all have individual contracts with you. Very much an unruly process for the owner and everything. So that kind of represents that. But what I really like about this slide is that dotted line in between there, between Hammond and TDA. And I've stood up here often and I've talked about the synergy that has occurred and you'll start to see occurring and everything. As you know, we're heading into that with the schematic design. And Abby was talking about the constructability reviews, the cost estimating, and those things, and they're not done in a vacuum. Our estimators are going to pull all this together and start their process, and they're going to be working closely with Abby and her team with questions, comments, our assumptions on where it is going to kind of get the best cost estimate that you can at schematic design. Schematic design is that first line drawing, and it's not that detailed. And it's not intended to be that detailed. It's a snapshot in time. So there's going to be a lot of questions, assumptions, and everything. So that's why we work closely with that, in that process and everything. And we will do a constructability review, as Abby mentioned, which is kind of looking at, how the building is being built. A good example of constructability I always give is, the mechanical engineers will be showing their piping coming up through a particular floor, and of course the heating piping is going to be shown in the same location, because oftentimes it's the same engineer that's drawing that. But oftentimes maybe the architect thinks, you know what, we're going to put a soffit over a chase over here in the southwest corner. Well, the pipes are coming up in the northeast corner. So those are the types of things that we would make note of. That, we probably at DD we just need to coordinate where that pipe chase is. So that's constructability when we're talking about that. Another set of eyes looking at it and kind of like, okay, if we're building this thing, what can we do between now and the construction documents to get a better set of documents to get great prices? Good set of documents is good prices when we bid it out to our subcontractors. Now, also on our, kind of fast forwarding a little bit, and we'll see these on our slides, is when we do get into that GMP phase, just before we start to bid this process, we're going to engage in pre-qualifying subcontractors and share that with the Board of Education. TDA is going to play a large role in that. So you're going to know who our subcontractors are, who we're going to be seeking bids from. So, you're involved in that process. So that doesn't happen in a vacuum either. And then when we receive those bids and get those subcontractors on board, you're going to see our bid tabs and all of that financial information. So it's an open book for you. So if you have any questions on, okay, who are you bidding? Who's going to be doing our roof work? So you're going to know who those bidders are. You're going to know the numbers that they provided to us, because it's provided to you as well. Next. Did you want me to take this, or do you want to take it?
I can speak to the architectural side if that's
Okay.
okay, because I think
Sure.
as we go down, it gets more falls under the Hammond bucket. But we just wanted to show those phases. So that's that submission timeline from earlier that said like event duration, kind of the elements of a phase submission. That's going to happen 3 times throughout this process. The first time will be the schematic design. So that's what you see represented here. We take the program of requirements in the schematic design phase and we push them together because they really work strongly off one another. The first bullet point is establishing flow and adjacencies. That's on the site as well as in the building. And then we are creating initial floor plans, initial site design, and initial building elevations. So that's really our side of the schematic design package, and then Hammond's got some components too.
Yes. Well, and that's when you're going to see our first cost estimate. And of course, we're going to be sharing that with you. And it's going to be pretty detailed. It's schematic design. It's pretty detailed. When we get into the design development and then the GMP phase of it, it gets even more detailed. But even at the schematic design, our cost estimates are more detailed. So, we'll walk you through that. We'll answer any questions. We'll boil it down for you if you want. Also, with the schematic design, you're going to get a schedule. I know that we're showing some framework concepts now for schedule, some blocks of time, if you will. Schematic design schedule is going to be pretty detailed. And in fact, it's probably going to be at a level that when you first see it, you're going to say, we don't need all of that. Could you maybe break it down for us? So, right now, again, you're getting blocks of time that seem like, okay, we've got a 3-month duration here, and there's activities in there. As we get into schematic design, you're going to see that detail. It starts to get more detailed at SD, at DD, and then what we're bidding out to our contractors, and then our construction schedule when we get in there, it's going to be very, very detailed.
So again, through September, it will still be on that first dark blue bar of schematic design. And like I said, we're gonna come with a very detailed design presentation as we go into design development. So that'll start in October. And that is really when we start applying engineering to that schematic design. So we've established the adjacencies, we know we're on budget, and we really start ramping up the engineering and the detailing. And then we're starting to look at details of what happens inside each space. So at schematic design, we're not going to show sinks. We're not going to show casework. Or schematic design is really just getting the rooms where they're going to land. This is the phase where it starts to look what you might think of when you think of a blueprint. And then we do that same process again with the CMR cost estimate and review. And then if we go to the next slide is when we get into the GMP. So this is, the point where we're starting to pass the baton a little bit more to Hammond as far as getting into the construction phase. We're almost done with our design. We're almost done with our documentation, and we've established the basis and the design intent with enough detail that cost for the building can be established. And then we're going into the bidding phase. So I don't know if you want to speak any more to that, Jeff.
Well, yeah, the GMP is that process. Once we receive the drawings, our estimators are going to do an estimate. There's going to be, more, questions, clarifications. So we're going to put a document together, with that, and then we're going to get together in a room, and we're going to reconcile the GMP. The OFCC is certainly going to be there. It's probably going to be this pretty big building. It's probably going to be a day process that we're going to get in for our GMPs, and that's going to reconcile and hammer out, and then drive a stake in the ground that this is what we're providing you with the number. This is what we're this is what we're building. These are the prints. Here's the cost of that, and then from there. Then we'll reach out to our subcontractors and bid it. So it is a process that when we get to that point, it'll be interesting for you all for the first time. That GMP meeting is quite a day. I'm glad it's with TDA. Sometimes it can, it can be long, it can be laborious, and it can be contentious, but it won't be in this particular situation. So that'll be a good day, and we may have it in our new office. We just opened an office just a few miles from here, downtown Akron. So we've got an Akron office now in the Akron Center, the building adjacent to the First Energy building. So and maybe that's where we'll have our GMP meeting.
Yep, and just to echo a little bit of what Jeff said, it is nice to be working as a team with Hammond, not as folks on other sides of the table, but on the same side of the table with you all. So they're welcome to all of our design meetings as you see them as our design meetings, all of our committees. And then as we get into bidding and qualification and scope reviews, we're at the table as well. So it's a good partnership. I think the next slide just gets into construction. So again, I know this isn't, I don't know, I think it's kind of exciting. I know it's not pictures of what the building is going to look like because we're not there yet. But again, we just wanted to build off of our conversation last month and give you something a little more concrete so that you can know what's coming and what we're up to. Because, we see you once a month and we're giving you this update, and it's not an update about a design yet, but it will be very, very soon. So that is what we had prepared for this evening. I don't know if there are any questions from you.
Questions from any member of our planning committee? And thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate that very much. If any of you have questions for either TDA or Hammond, feel free to ask them now.
I just wondered with Newberry sites, and the abatement and all that stuff, when will it be available for, community walkthroughs to take pictures and say bye and all that?
That's a great question. So we have a planning committee that is meeting in a couple weeks, and that is what is on our agenda. We introduced that at our last planning committee meeting, and we're going to work through the details of that in several weeks. If whether that be opportunities for tours, or if we're going to do any kind of, take a brick or other types of initiatives. We don't have any of those details hammered out yet, unless Dr. Nichols or anyone else, you have anything else
No,
to
that
add?
was part of the planning team's assignment.
Yeah, it's in process. So
Yep.
once we have that information and the committee has worked through that, I'm sure we'll work with the district's communication folks to push that out to the community.
And I think that's going to be key, because anytime a building like that is going away, if you just want to have walkthrough, that's great. But obviously the district, it's their building before it's demolished. You have first right of refusal for anything that is in there. And so those are the things that you need to know, before the documents are finalized. Some buildings have a lot of maybe terracotta, a lot of maybe copper flashings, gutters, downspouts, and things of that nature, which in the bidding process for demolition, there's value in that for scrap. Well, if that's not part of the scrap, then the contractor obviously needs to know that. So I think that's going to be an important key right there is, whatever comes out of the committee is it's just a walkthrough for the people to see the building for the last time, or are there pieces of that building that you want to retain, or that you want out of there before they do demolish it. So that's going to be very important.
In certain situations, there's, auction opportunities prior to it. I'm not sure that there's really anything in Newberry that would be worthy of us contracting with an auctioneer, et cetera, et cetera. But in some of the construction projects that I've done previously, there's been an auction prior to demolition. So that would be part of the determination as well.
Yeah, and yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, Newberry, I've been into the building, and
I don't think there's anything.
There may be some sentimental value for people that went in there, but it's not like it's not like a building that does have a lot of terracotta.
Right.
It's a lot of historical value. There's really no medallions, stone medallions, or anything on the building that we could take off and retain, and then maybe incorporate into the new building or something.
In a lot of places, there's old gym floor that people take, or old bleachers that people use the wood, or pianos, or what have you, that are often auctioned off. But I don't think any of that really exists in Newberry.
But TDA and Hammond, we're both experienced enough to know that if there is something in the building that you do want to retain and you want to offer that up, there's a process for that. The last thing in the world you want to do is have a day where you open it up and you tell anybody, hey, anything you want, go in and get it. That's not where you want to be. East Cleveland did that. They went in, they tore stuff off, and they cost themselves about $85,000 because they had to come in, abate the building, have it cleared by the EPA before they could even start abatement because they disturbed asbestos in the process.
Yep.
Other questions from members of our planning committee? We will be meeting August 19th at 6:00 in here. So bring your ideas for the Newberry site specifically. And I know Mr. Bugatti organized when we demolished Sill, helped organize the bricks and a safe space where community members could access that as well. So I'm anticipating that that'll take place this time with Newberry. Other questions from any of you that are here this evening? Well, thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you August 19th at 6:00 back here. So thanks to the planning committee members who were able to join us.
See you tomorrow.
And Abby and Jeff, thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate the updates.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Tell Alleman that you're the top tiger this time.
No, I was today.
Huh?
I was today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's top tiger. Too.
Sorry.
You might have got trumped by Emma Burstowski.
You said it already. You can't take it back.
Oh, okay. Well, we can have multiple top tigers. We
Okay,
often do
all
that.
right.
Item E, Treasurer CFO's business by consent agenda, Ms. Christie Stoikoi.
I'd like to recommend that the Board of Education approve all items listed in the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on these items?
Just a little bit. I had sent an email that we had to make some last minute appropriation changes. One being they gave us our final allocation for ESER 3 and it was a few $1,000s higher. So we increased that a bit. And our auxiliary fund, with the new biennium budget, the non-publics had the option of taking their money directly instead of as opposed to flowing through us. And Chapel Hill, there are 4 of them, and Chapel Hill decided to take their money directly. So we decreased that appropriation due to that.
Are they responsible then for all the paperwork that we previously did?
Yeah, they take on all that reporting responsibility and they get the money directly, and they don't go through us for requisitions or purchase orders or anything anymore when it comes to that. The only thing they would still go through us for is if they opted into federal funding for certain things, which they typically don't. So, and I don't think they did this year, so they wanted to have control of it. And then just to mention a couple donations that are here, Staples, and there were some other ones, Jackie Krish, David Leatherman, Eric Brown, and Katie Andexler at Richardson. So those are always helpful and well appreciated.
Any
That's it.
comments or questions on these items? Roll call, please.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
And your comments?
I don't have much, and I'm not just saying this because KJ said something nice earlier about me and Joanne, because Joanne and I'm going to preface this. But Joanne and I were just talking right before the meeting, and as you know, we've started our fee endeavor of getting those on track and everything. And she came in and I concurred and said, we have to give hats off to KJ and the advisors and the coaches and the excellent job they have done in explaining everything, getting parents in contact with us if they need to be put on a payment plan. I mean, they've done an incredible job. I have to give kudos to Joanne as well. She has spent all summer talking to parents who want to pay, who, have to get on payment plans for different reasons. And she has spent a lot of time with that. But it's been very helpful. We've gotten a lot. We've gotten people, back on track and up to date, and at least making them aware. And so it's been good so far, but big thanks to KJ and all of his people, because that's been a tremendous, tremendous help for us. So that's it.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Stoikoi. Item G, Superintendent CEO's business by consent agenda. Dr. Nichols.
Thank you, President Schofield, members of the board. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve all items listed in the superintendent's business consent agenda.
So moved. A second.
It's been moved and seconded. We have with us tonight our new principal of DeWitt Elementary School, Jennifer Scala. So we'll be voting in just a minute on that. And then we'll give you a round of applause because we're so happy you are with us. Any comments on any of these items or questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
And we have another black tiger.
We recognize the black and gold.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I already had this part of my wardrobe, so
Yeah.
it was meant to be. It was meant to
Destiny.
be. I'm just really proud and excited to be joining this Black Tiger family. The community has already been so welcoming, and it's just been a great opportunity for me. I'm committed to driving student success through building strong relationships with students and families, as well as building, strong and research-based instructional strategies in the classroom. So I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to serve Cuyahoga Falls students, staff, families, and the community. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Too excited for wet parents here too.
Item H, Superintendent CEO's business. Dr. Nichols?
Yeah, I have just a few comments to make this evening. 2 weeks from today, we will welcome our students back for the 2021-2022 school year. We will be issuing an all-call Friday, the content for which has been developed by our team, that will include a link in their email that basically gives all of the possible information that we'll also be posting to our website and posting under the return to school piece. So it'll be on main page, it'll be on return to school. It'll also be in the email portion of the all call that I send Friday evening. As part of that, you will see that we are having an event of sorts for our elementary families to come to our elementary schools. It'll be by alphabet right now, and that's how it's designed, but it's opportunity to drop off supplies, see the building, tour some classrooms and that kind of thing. The afternoon of Convocation Day, Monday, our elementary folks will be back in their buildings. And so I'm imagining that a good number of I know our principals will be there, and a good number of our faculty will be around, remain to, take care of the classrooms, so on and so forth, but also welcome our families into our buildings. So we look forward to that event. Last Friday and this Monday, we engaged all of our administrators in really a great retreat, quite honestly. Jennifer had the opportunity to join us, and for the most part, I had the groups broken into elementary, secondary, and CCR, and then operations as well, and working on goal setting, action planning, so on and so forth. And so we really have a very limited number of goals that I'll roll out very shortly. And the teams have worked on the action plans in terms of how they're going to address those goals. But academically, we spent a year involved with a book study on Focus by Mike Schmoker. And the board members will be happy to know that we are ordering the book Focus for all of our faculty across the district. And so the book studies will look different, probably in each one of the buildings and so on and so forth, but all of them will be engaged in it in some way. And particularly focused on use the word focus. Yeah. Particularly chapters 4 through 7, content literacy. And so as you have read Leading with Focus, you have identified those are the chapters that if you're going to have faculty read, you make sure that they read those particular chapters. So you'll be happy to know that is taking place as one of the action plans, and our work last year has been taken very seriously and has not died. It's only expanded. Also, we had John Moyer there. We talked about resilient leadership. And so John came and presented to our administrative team. And we've established the dates, the 4 dates, the 5 book groups. The clear expectation has been set that they will be here. And we will go from 5 to 7-ish. 6:37-ish, and have dinner and discussion and so on and so forth. We've also committed, leading by example, we've committed our cabinet team to individual coaching, group and individual coaching. with regard to leadership. So that is those are really two of our major efforts, if you will, to really focus on literacy, communication, writing across the curriculum, content literacy, all of those kinds of pieces, reading, writing, arithmetic, so to speak, and then also the whole concept of leadership. The other piece is absolutely loud and clear engagement. Engagement in our staff, in our buildings, but also engagement in our community. And those topics, those three topics really dominated our conversation over those 2 days. Would you agree, Kevin? Yeah. And I think the expectation has been clearly set that's where we are and what we got to do. I've given them explicit permission not to worry about resource leveraging. We have that at cabinet level. That's us. We got it. And so that's where we are. And that's a recap of retreat real fast for the community and an expectation as to where we're going. So that's what I have for you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. Any questions for Dr. Nichols? Item I, board business. Before I go on, thank you. That was outstanding.
What?
What you just said on the goals. Just outstanding.
Thank you.
Item 1, Ohio School Boards Association delegate. The board appoints one of its members as the official delegate and one member as an alternate to the Ohio School Boards Association OSBA annual business meeting with power to vote. The meeting will be held on Monday, November 8th, 2021. The delegate will be Mr. Anthony Gomez and the alternate will be Ms. Patrice White. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Thank you to Mr. Gomez and Ms. White for representing us at the business meeting. Roll call.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffitt?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye. Item 2, recognition of support organization. It's recommended the Board of Education formally recognize the following support organization for the 2021-2022 academic year. We have the Cuyahoga Falls Athletic Booster Club. Motion?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Thank them for getting their submission in, so we can recognize them as well.
I want to thank KJ for all his work. He continues to take his machete out into the frontier and rattle the bushes. So keep going, KJ. It is the Western Reserve.
So we anxiously await the support organizations coming forward at future meetings, our PTOs, PTAs, Home and School League, any of our athletic groups and so on. You just need to know that we want your support. We value your support and we are grateful for every minute you donate your time to our students in our district. We just need to formally recognize you according to board policy, so folks know that you're a legitimate organization recognized by the board. Item 3.
Wait.
Oh,
Gotta
did we
vote.
not?
We
We
didn't
didn't get there. Roll call.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffitt?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Now we're ready for future agenda items.
The only thing is, we're gonna discuss leading with focus at the next meeting, is that correct? Just wanna make sure I come prepared.
So,
I thought it was September.
Dr. Nichols, would you like to comment on that?
Of course, that's an expectation of our administrative team, and we've given them till August 31st
Okay.
to finish the book. And we're going to incorporate leading with focus into our administrative council meetings, instructional council meetings. So you may want to wait until after they have passed their deadline.
So first meeting in September.
Okay, so
Alright.
let's pencil in that for the first meeting of September then, Dr. Nichols.
I think that would be appropriate.
And then your presentation is gonna be the second meeting in September.
I can do either or, the first or second.
Ms. Stoico is gonna do the presentation on how interest rates affected our bond.
Which is best for you? Two?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so that'll be the second meeting. Any other items? Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. The Alliance for School and Community Growth. Mrs. Moffett,
We are meeting on August 10th.
thank you. Athletics and Activity Council.
Yeah, we met on Thursday the 22nd. We had a spring sports recap. We talked about the records of a lot of the teams and the notable performances, which included a lot of our Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, which we saw tonight. I wrote 15 with 3 exclamation points.
I know.
We have financial report. They didn't have a great year financially because there's not a lot of money that comes in spring. Football obviously will bring a lot of money back in quickly, and the first home game is on September 3rd. We talked about the weight room. They're looking at having a new weight room coordinator, and they got somebody from Sculpt Fitness, who's actually a Cuyahoga Falls High School graduate from 2003. His name's Josh Dickey. And there was more talk about painting the walls in the weight room and asking community members to come in and help with that effort, which I think is great. We talked about the school fees, which we've mentioned tonight. And of course, the online ticketing and how we're going to kind of deal with that so that the community understands that they're going to have to pay online instead of cash. And so hopefully that goes smoothly just with communications and all that kind of stuff. We talked about the Laybourne and the track complex and all that, when we can expect to see that work start to begin and stuff. Where some of the games and things are going to be played during the time when there is no option, and just some of those kinds of things. Of course, the start of the fall sports seasons and all that kind of stuff. I think that's about it right now. Yeah.
Questions for Dr. Hall? Thank you. Board policy, Mrs. White, Mr.
We
Gomez.
need to meet, but we haven't met yet. So I don't know if we have a date yet for board policy meeting.
I sent a message to Kyle Lathwell today asking when the August PDQ would be out. And they are not sure yet, but it will be substantial, or her exact words. So there'll be a lot of things on it.
Okay, so we're just kind of waiting till we hear
Well,
to set a meeting.
we thought that would be prudent.
Yeah, I
But-
agree. I mean, okay.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's wait.
Okay.
All right. Wait, it is. Business Advisory Council, Mrs. Moffett and Ms. White.
We meet on, I think it's the 24th at 8 a.m. August.
All righty.
I think.
Financial Advisory Committee, Dr. Hall.
Meeting on the 19th at 9.
Foundation Alumni Association, Mr. Gomez.
We are coming back from our summer recess and we'll be meeting next Tuesday, but I know that the members of the foundation are hard at work because I ran into Randy and Beth yesterday at my day job as they were going to go meet with the mayor, try to shake him down for a membership. And then while there, spoke to the city hall receptionist who happens to be the person that organizes her classes reunions. So then they shook her down for a membership as well. So while we've been on summer recess, the foundation's been working hard to keep their progress going.
Thank you, Mr.
May
Gomez.
I interject too, since I'm a
Sure.
trustee on that organization? I honestly feel that this Foundation Alumni Association has never been in better shape. And we are so fortunate to have very active members who are really sculpting, if you will, with weights, you do the sculpting things and it puts everything in shape. They're really taking the time to make this organization gel so that even as people might flow in and out, things are set so when the new person comes in, they'll be ready to pick it up and carry on with it. So the recruiting has been incredible. These people are just doing an outstanding job. And I'm speaking of other folks, not myself, but it's a sight to behold. And we are so, so fortunate. I think we're going to see fantastic things from our
Great news.
foundation.
Thank you. Legislative Liaison, Mr. Gomez.
The legislature is on summer recess.
Student Achievement Liaison, just a couple quick things. Our Student Achievement Liaison meeting is August 18th at 6:30 p.m. So I'll be attending that. A new element of student achievement this year through OSBA is going to be an online news story called Success Shorts, where each region in the state is assigned months where we submit student success stories. So our Northeast region has been assigned November and December. So I'll be looking for some student success stories to send from Cuyahoga Falls to be represented online at the new Success Shorts publication. Item 5, comments. We start tonight with Ms. White.
Okay, well, I got a lot. Bear with me. First of all, I'd like to thank our summer school staff for doing a great job and getting our students into shape. So I'd like to thank them for their hard work over the summer. I know I don't want to give up my summers, and they did. So I really appreciate that. As you know, Miss Schofield always shares tons of articles with me. So here's another one I'm going to pull from. And I also wanted to share with you, it's not just the board believing in focus, but we actually practice what what that book teaches and what we're saying. And I just wanted to show you, as you can see, Ms. Schofield highlighted, I underlined or starred, and that's called annotating the text. And that's one thing we want our students to work on. So just to let you know, we do the same. Time and again, when reviewing, this is how data-driven reform can drive deficit thinking. Time and again, when reviewing test scores and other data, teachers would refer to the supposedly inherent deficits of emerged bilingual students, students with disabilities, and other student populations. Instead of reflecting on their own classroom instruction or asking what the school could do to support those children more effectively, many teachers were quick to conclude that the children were themselves to blame for their performance by virtue of the categorization. And that's talking about the state tests, of course. However, data-driven decision-making can also perpetuate inequities, especially when educators use data in color-neutral ways that can confirm assumptions about students or their families. They tend to disregard students' culture, identities, or reinforce harmful tracking practices. So we found that the conversations also followed the pattern described above, with teachers explaining away students' low test scores by pointing to some aspect of their identity, such as English language or special ed. In other words, they attributed students' performance to their categorization, asserting that if emergent bilingual students, students with disabilities, and other groups of students get low test scores, it's because they are uniformly and unalterably deficient. So in short, our state and federal policies have conditioned educators to see students not as individuals, but as populations to be measured and monitored in categories. Finally, I just wanted to add, in other words, we can't focus on the test data. We got to do the best practice of what's right for our students, including tons of reading, tons of writing, and annotating text. And that's what focus is all about. So I just wanted to emphasize that article as well. And finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about something I'm not very comfortable, but I think it's very important. Just so you know, I was a cheerleader in high school long ago. So I'm going to be cheering at the end here a little bit. COVID-19 is our enemy. We are not the enemy of each other. It's COVID-19 that is our enemy. Vaccinations are safe and effective against COVID-19. FDA emergency authorization is not easy to receive. Many hoops and obstacles have to be overcome before authorization is given by the FDA. For instance, rigorous testing must be done by the FDA, and so on before they give authorizations. COVID-19 vaccinations do not affect fertility. They cannot alter DNA, and these vaccinations are readily available and free. In Ohio, only 50% of the population is vaccinated. We are now experiencing a surge again, uptick in cases because of the rapid spread of the Delta variant. Right now, those aged less than 20 are at 6,285 hospitalizations, and those aged 20 to 29 at 9,225. That's the largest group right now. Total cases in Summit County are 49,518. Our 7-day average is now 39. On July 11th, it was 8. The CDC, Summit County Health Department are recommending all people wear masks indoors. Again, there's a better way. Get vaccinated. Peninsula, Hudson, Bath, Copley, Fairlawn, and Woodridge, northern Cuyahoga Falls, are the highest areas in vaccination rates in Summit County. I think Cuyahoga Falls can do better. We're going to beat them. We can do it. I know we can. And really, people, with freedom comes responsibility to protect not only ourselves, but our friends, our family, and most importantly, our little children that cannot get vaccinated yet. So I think our community can do better. Let's go, Black Tigers, and go get vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White. Mr. Gomez.
Hey, I had the opportunity last week to go out and see Good Neighbors in action during their school supply handout time of the year. And if you haven't been recently, you got to stop by. They'll give you a tour. It's amazing what they have going on there. They now have a full-size commercial freezer, full-size commercial fridge. They bought computer mice and headphones for any student that needs them. They give you a backpack with almost everything that we ask people to give. They are just so wonderful. But what's even better is when you go over into their produce section, almost all of the produce that they give away was donated by the kids here at Cuyahoga Falls High School growing it in the fresh farm. So I was just astounded by that. And that's my second point. If you haven't stopped by the fresh farm, you got to go look around. And it's not just on 6th Street. It's over on Thomas Court. That's where all the flowers are. So if you're just looking for something beautiful to see or a little good photo backdrop, you got to go down Thomas Court and see all the zinnias and sunflowers that they have in bloom. And it's just such an amazing thing that our Steves made happen. That fresh farm, it's making such an important impact in families' lives in this community. So I couldn't be more excited about that. I want to give a special thank you to Mr. Bugatti and his team because they have been relentless this summer and working on projects to make our buildings better, safer, our parking lots better, everything. If you've driven by Schnee recently, it looks a lot nicer because they got it all power washed. It looks great out there. And that's not to even talk about all the work that went on inside the building. So they are our summertime heroes, and we're very thankful to him and his team and all that they did. I circulated an article, which I won't read. But it's, I think, a very good article, and it talks about Ohio. It's helping students learn at their own pace, why some Ohio schools are adopting a mastery approach in hopes of closing COVID learning gaps. And so I thought that was a great one for us to think about. And then lastly, just want to talk about all the things that happened at this meeting tonight. We talked about our district's financial excellence. We hired a new principal whose first comments were student family engagement and research-based instruction. We talked about progress towards creating our new 612 campus. We talked about impactful goals for our entire school district, and we honored some of our students and have 3 new alumni. What more can you ask for out of a Board of Education meeting? I'm just like beaming with pride tonight And I just want more people in the community to be aware of what's happening because it's so exciting. So many good things are happening, and I hope people catch on because there's so much good happening. We're on, I think they said to Dr. Nichols, we're like on that precipice. We're gonna a few more pushes, and we're gonna just really be there.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Dr. Hall.
Thanks. I don't have too much to say. I just wanted to congratulate once again the new inductees into the Cuyahoga Falls Athletic Hall of Fame, and then also just congratulate all the spring athletes. A lot of whom maybe are not going to ever play high school sports again because their career is over in high school at least. So congratulations to all of them. I want to just shout out to Coach Parker. One of the things that really stuck out to me in our athletic advisory meeting was the flag football program that he did over the summer. Really just such a cool way to get kids involved in sports at a really young age. And it was fun and the community loved it. Everybody was just really excited about it. In an earlier meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago or something, we were talking about how a lot of school sports are kind of suffering because of like the traveling teams and things like that. And one of the things we really emphasized in that meeting, I think it was 2 meetings ago, maybe, Kenny, was that we needed to have sort of like pilot programs that would get kids interested in sports at younger ages, whether it's middle school, elementary school, whatever it is, so that when they get into high school, they want to play soccer, they want to play football, they want to play volleyball, whatever it is, right? And so Coach Parker really did something great there that I hope will sort of branch out and help us be able to do that in other areas as well, athletically. And then Anthony kind of stole my thunder, but I always just love to talk about the great work that Joe's team does, especially during the summer. I just remember, being a kid and like for whatever reason having to go into the building during the summer, not because of summer school, and see all the people working really hard to get the buildings clean and ready, and not even just that, but also there's a lot of teachers right now who are gearing up, right? And this is that time, and it's stressful and it's also exciting at the same time. So, I just want to say, like, I recognize that, and I'm looking forward to a great year here. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Mrs. Moffitt.
Not to be redundant, I won't steal anyone's thunder because a lot has been said already, but one of our family's favorite movies is Overboard. And at the end, there's a little guy on board the ship, and he says, "It's of a day at sea, sir." And that's how I feel about our Black Tiger community. It is a wonderful time to be a member of the Black Tiger family. And so I just wanted to say that. And also, we're wishing the staff, the students, and the parents a very successful start to the new school year. A lot of hard work goes into it, a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of sweat because our buildings aren't air conditioned, and we know how warm August is going to get. It's been saving itself for the beginning of school, but we are so thankful and appreciative of our staff members who just knock themselves out to make every classroom hopefully the best that it can be and get the kids really excited and engaged because some of them have been gone for a while. So it's a new opportunity to begin anew. So congratulations and best wishes to all of our Black Tiger family when school starts.
Thank you, Ms. Moffitt.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're passing out kudos, let's just take a look at that team over there that works all summer long. So Ms. McClure, contrary to popular belief, when she says this, people say, like, what do you guys do in the summer? Well, a lot of hiring. So a lot of our teaching staff and support staff and obviously building principal and so on all happened as a result of Ms. McClure's work this summer. So thank you for that. We've already heard about Mr. Joe Bugatti and all the work his staff has done. He's also gotten, we heard tonight from our construction folks about the demolition of Newberry. And some of you know that's where our special needs preschool children attend. So one of the big jobs Mr. Bugatti had this summer was getting that whole wing of Schnee ready for our tinies to show up. And they've been working hard, flooring, walls, ceiling, plumbing, you name it. It's been going on over there. How are we doing on that, Mr. Bugatti?
Oh, thank you for asking. First, thank you for recognizing everybody in the maintenance department, custodial, cleaners, everybody. They do a fantastic job. And I said it once, I said it 100 times, I'm blessed. Now, I don't want to become emotional from all the thank yous, but, so I'll move on. So we're doing wonderful there. I set out August 1st as a deadline, which we all knew they're not moving. They don't have school until September 7th, somewhere in that area. We're going to move in on the 16th. By the 16th, it'll be done. Really, the holdup is now we had some defective flooring that came in. The hardwood, the hard surface flooring was defective. So we had to send it all back. Had to make a color change because the lead time on what we picked out was like 10 or 12 weeks, which we couldn't wait. So the flooring will be in. I expect everything to be done, plumbing, flooring, painting. I say we're 90% finished. We'll be done by 16th of August. The outside work, I'm hoping will be done in a couple of weeks. I don't know if anybody knows, but we're doing a lot of cement work outside. We're redoing the stairs in the back, and we're doing the little playground asphalt area out front. So as much as Mr. Gomez said that he likes the outside of the building now, he's really going to love it. So
Great.
thank you for asking.
Yep.
We're doing a really good job there.
Thank
In
you,
a couple of
Mr.
weeks, we'll schedule a tour for the Board of Education to
Great.
walk through, just as we walked through previously. And another area that I'd like to take you through is our new modern communications classroom that is coming along as well under the direction of Mr. Bugatti and Mr. Hutch.
Sure.
Uh,
Sounds
so-
good. I don't want to leave out technology. We just got word that if you have any random Chromebooks at home, better get them in because it's time
Coming
to.
for you.
They're coming. So we're gearing up for new Chromebook distribution at the start of the year, and I know your folks have been busy with all that, Mr. Hutch, so thank you too for your work.
Sure.
And just a quick announcement, there will be something called Welcome Week this year. It'll take place 2 schools a night. Monday, September 13th will be Lincoln and Richardson. Tuesday, the 14th, Silver Lake and Elizabeth Price. And Thursday, the 16th, DeWitt and Preston. And it will be a resource fair in a vendor format. We hope to have representatives from a variety of organizations that our parents can utilize. Akron Children's Hospital will be there, who we utilize for our school nursing services. They'll be there for vaccinations. Our police department will be there. Good Neighbors, a lot of community groups that will be helpful to our parents, public library, and so on. One-stop shop. We'll provide dinner, walk through, get some good information for your children. It should be a great night. This is through our partnership with the YMCA and the after-school program and our focus on family engagement. That's it from me. So item J, executive session. Pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, it is hereby moved that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the employment of a public employee.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Hall?
Aye.
Ms. Moffett?
Aye.
Ms. Schofield?
Aye.
Ms. White?
Aye.
Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
Where shall we be adjourning to?
You should always check and see that.